Uh, Real quick, I don't know, sometime last week. Look, if you've listened to this program for any period of time at all, you know that I am literally good friends with the band Skillet. And John and I talk a whole lot more than I do with anybody else, but Seth and Jen and Corey, when I was in Nashville just a matter of weeks ago, um, I drove out to John and Corey's house, and Corey cooked dinner, and we sat there and talked about church and church problems and all sorts of real life stuff like that. And so uh, I've spent hours in the Skillet bus at various concerts, and he and Corey flew out for our 40th anniversary for Alpha and Omega and surprised me. Just walked right through there, right where I'm looking at right now. Just shocked me. And it didn't shock me that they would want to be here. It shocked me that they'd be able to be here. I mean, they just got back from, I think, South America, and just huge concerts and huge crowds. And when they perform in Eastern Europe, they 100,000 people at these things. It's just massive. They've had global impact. So anyway, looks like it's raining. Anyway, yeah, for us in Phoenix, that's exciting. I know if you live in Seattle, it's like, please stop mentioning this. I don't want to know. Anyway, so last week, I saw a little blurb on John's X feed about O Come, O Come Emmanuel, and it was just a brief little clip of a song they did, a version of O Come, O Come Emmanuel. So I'm texting him like, you guys are doing a Christmas album? That'd just be absolutely awesome. He says, well, actually, no, just one, just one song. And since then, I've texted everybody in the band. Jen, this would be great. Seth, dude, I mean, wow, and I'm going, Mannheim's getting a little old, and I still love my Mannheim Steamroller, but dude, we could really use, and they all said the same thing, by the way. Everybody said the same thing. They said that song was Corey's genius. Now, Corey is a genius. I mean, John admits Corey's just way beyond him. He really is. He married way up. And she's just a musical genius. Arrangement and hearing stuff and getting it just right. And she did all that arranging and stuff like that for this song. So I'm all excited and I'm like, oh, this is great. And he said, would you like to see the whole thing? So he linked me to a 2 days before it came out. I got to grab the whole thing and watch it. And, I love Skillet. And look, that's not the normal kind of music I listen to. If I'm listening to something secular, it's going to be 1930s and 40s big band, John Tesh, John Denver. Okay, that's sort of my bailiwick. But I have all of Skillet's music, and there's some beautiful ballads and stuff in there. I mean, Your Light Will Terrify the Dark, just a gorgeous song. And on the last album, they had In the Valley of Death. Wow. I mean, that is deep, and very, again, mainly piano, Corey on the piano, I'm pretty sure it was. Anyway, this video, I start watching it, and you have to watch it and think, because it starts off with John in this hospital room. And that was the first thing that caught me, was that looks like a monitor behind him, and that looks like an IV bag, and what's going on here? And he's looking at an empty hospital bed. And he's talking about, O come, Emmanuel, free your people. And it's talking about death. This is an empty hospital bed. Someone has died, and there's sadness, and it's longing for the eventual banishing of death. And it's based on the words and the imagery that the words evoke. I think a lot of their critics just sing these songs without ever thinking about what imagery this is supposed to evoke. And then it switches to a church, and I asked John, I said, where'd you find the church? He said, it wasn't a church, it was a set. It looks just like a church, but it was a set here in Nashville. And most of the vocals for Skillet start with John, and then Jen comes in. And so I thought it was really cool. He's starting the next verse, and then she's walking in, so that when she starts doing the sort of echo refrain vocal thing they do on a lot of their songs, she's now sitting in one of the pews too. But again, it's really dark, and it's longing. And so as it develops, light starts coming in through the windows, the stained glass windows and stuff, as it's talking about the advent and of the Messiah and the banishing of death and all the rest of this stuff. And so it's really, really well done in following, what the music's about. Then, of course, they do a Skillet verse, where it's back to Dominion and White Horse and all the big hits they've had, and it's hard rock. Seth's out there. John swings his bass around his neck. He's gonna kill himself doing that someday. John Cooper was taken to the hospital after his bass choked him to death. Anyway, so they do the Jen's going on the drums and Corey's. I don't know how Corey doesn't have a chiropractor on constant standby. The way she swings her head around, I would be completely debilitated. I would not be able to walk. I would not be able to move. She's amazing. So anyway, so they do that, and then it immediately breaks into the conclusion, which is just a brief, right back down to the quiet, oh come, he is with us, he is with us. It's just super well done. And so I was telling the family about it. I said, wow, John just shared this thing with me. It's coming out in 2 days. It's really, really great. And so, and I ripped the audio to put into my Christmas music list so that I'll have it in there. I won't tell you how many Christmas songs I have in my Christmas list because that would be used against me everywhere. Let's just say it would take a long time before I'd heard it again, like 6 days. Anyways, listening 24 hours a day. But then it comes out, and it's like, most people are like, wow, that's awesome. This is great. They're all saying the same thing. We need a Skillet Christmas album. And, I was like, believe me, I'm already telling them that. It would be a smash and it would be great. But then here come the people that are still putting on the talks at churches that my parents took me to 50 years ago about how certain beats came from Africa and are demonic. And, there's one guy, he's written a self-published book on the evils of Christian rock, and he's going at it. And then they start just picking the band apart. Oh, you were wrong here. And one of the things that went after him was the thing with the shack. And it's like, excuse me, in that studio over there, John was on my program and was on our program, that he repented for having been involved with that they didn't know what the shack was. He should have done more research and all the rest of that kind of stuff. It was on our program that he first said that. And he said it on others too. I think with Alyssa Childers and on his own podcast. He said, hey, that was a misstep. We messed up there. How many bands do that? How many go, oh, sorry, I mean, come on. They've been in this since 96. 30, they're coming up on 30 years. How many bands have been cranking out quality music with high quality lyrics for 30 years? And you might, well, I don't like that song over there. I don't like that song. Oh, okay, fine. And I'm not saying you have to love their style. I mean, they do a wide variety of stuff, let's be honest. But okay, you don't like the guitars, you don't like the driving sounds. Maybe you don't weightlift. Maybe you don't ride a bike like I do. They're great for that kind of stuff. Going for a PR, better fire up Skillet, that kind of thing. Fine. No problem. I'm not sitting here saying because they're Christians, you have to like that kind of music. But man, the stuff that I started seeing from people that obviously had not even sat there long enough to go, wow, that's a pretty strong message it's got there. And boy, they really thought through the lyrics, and that really does communicate powerfully. And ignore the guitar riff section and Jen going crazy on the drum. Leave that aside. Watch the rest of it. Leave that out and go, did they nail this or did they nail this? I mean, how many people sing that song? They never even think about what it's actually a post-millennial theme if you listen to it carefully. Most people don't even realize that. They put it into a different context, but if you listen to it carefully, that's what it's doing. And John was a post-millennialist before I was, by the way. So yes, you have your.
Oh, I was just going to say, you need to understand that there are so many people, and I think of this every time I read them online, that they drink pickle juice for breakfast. And so they walk around with that look on their face all day long, and then they see something wonderful, and they just can't, more pickle juice. Here we go, Well,
so they have to attack it, and they must not be enjoyable people to be around. That's all I can say. But I am Skillet's official theologian, and so I have been defending them online. Seth's been online. John has contacted me. Said, hey, thanks for having our back. And let me just tell you one thing, okay? I could tell you a lot of things about John and Corey and Jen and Seth that demonstrate they're real, okay? They're not playing games, all right? I didn't play this. Did I? I don't think I played it on the air. Maybe I did. Anyway, it was during COVID. They were playing no, it was after COVID. They were playing in London. And I get this text from John. And it's a video. And he says, James, you've got to see this. And so he's using his phone. And so he's talking to this fan outside the venue after the concert. And he says, tell him a story. James will get to see this. And I don't know how they had hooked up, but she was talking about, if I recall, it was her daughter, who I think came along during the video. And through this webcast, through this ministry, her daughter had been led to Christ and had wanted to be baptized. But the UK had locked down doing anything like that. You weren't allowed to get baptized. So they literally snuck into a park while it was snowing and baptized her like in a fountain, in the pool of a fountain. That's called using cold water, like the Didache said. And they had heard that John and I were friends. And so they are telling John about it. And he's videotaping this and sending this to me. They had come, they wanted to hear Skillet. When they were down in South America, he sent me a couple of shots of signs that people were holding in the concert. And both of them had a very similar message, a little bit different. But basically it was, I had given up. I was ready to commit suicide. Your music kept me from killing myself. And you're just like, he has boldly proclaimed the gospel in some of the, let's put it this way. John Cooper has boldly proclaimed the gospel in places that most of these people not only would never go, but they would never open their mouth if they found themselves there. So there you go. So those of you who have just said, well, this is not my cup of tea. I have different musical tastes. Fine. No one was saying anything other. But for all these people, get a life, please. Get a life. Anyway. Go back and listen to the programs we've had. We need to have John on again. But go back and listen to the programs we've done. Listen to the story where he talks about one of his favorite songs that was born out of a situation with abortion and stuff like that. Don't just judge because he's got a big beard and tattoos or something. That's just so surface level. judge on the basis of content and character over time. That's what you need to do. Okay, all right. So there was that. Now I have commented on the Skillet controversy.